We in?
All right, we're there.
All right, people. What's up, man? This is your man G. This is Nick, and this is Richie D. Y'all remember? That's her right there. So,
Rich the Ruler. Yo, yo, yo. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Hope everybody's doing good tonight. Glad to be here.
so tonight, as y'all know, conversation is gonna be a little serious. We're going to talk about mental health, how y'all handle it. We're gonna have we're going to have Dr. Bear with us in a minute, but I wanted to take that minute because last time we didn't have the artist with us, so I'm very proud tonight to introduce you to her, so y'all finally see who's behind that mic. You know what I mean? After that, Nick is going to take the lead tonight because we're going to talk about some stuff serious. So, Nick.
Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome. It's your girl, Nick. All right, so you heard our topic tonight, mental health, right? So we're going to talk about some of that, the stigma, what to look for. What to look for in a therapist and stuff like that. We're going to have a special guest on tonight. Besides Richie D, we're going to have Dr. Bell on the phone with us, right? So we're all looking forward to that.
So, if you have any questions, any experience about this type of situation, please comment, ask questions. Don't worry about it. If you want us to call you, we can also do that. So we're gonna try to call Dr. Bear right now, so we can really start talking about it.
Yes, don't forget, you could always ask questions in the live chat, and we're here to answer them. Music DJ.
Okay, we got five watching on live. Shout out to the 5 people watching.
Yeah, we just got 6.
We got 6 people tuned in. Shout out to our 6 viewers. You guys mean everything.
And we got Dr. Bear with us. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're great. Hey.
Hey, Dr. Bell.
Thanks for having me, guys. Thank you.
So you know the topic tonight. So we're really counting on you to really explain everything you can about mental health. But for people to know who you are, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Sade. I am a PhD student at K-State University. I'm getting my PhD in couple and family therapy. I have 2 master's degrees already. I have one in addictions counseling and one in marriage and family therapy. And then I got my bachelor's in psychology. So I've been studying mental health for a long time.
All right. Congratulations.
Shout out to you. Shout out to Dr. Bell. Let me get some claps on that. Let's get a round of applause on that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Throw some claps.
Let me.
You know you like your buttons.
I
Come
got
on now.
you. See, now y'all requesting my buttons.
Bring in the claps.
So I have one question before I give the mic to Nick. What is it like when people hear about mental health? What's come with that name?
Oh man, it's usually really negative, unfortunately, because if you are getting any type of mental health help, that means something's wrong with you. And so instead of people actually looking into it and seeing what it's about, they just kind of push through and things get worse because they don't want anyone to know that they're struggling. And it's just counterproductive.
So is it like something that people talk about easy, or they scare about getting judged?
It's about being judged. It's about if you go see a therapist or a psychiatrist or whatever type of mental health provider you choose to see, that means something's fundamentally wrong with you. That means you are not doing what you're supposed to do. It means the image that you are trying to portray to others is tarnished because you're not able to handle yourself in a mental capacity. And it's just such a horrible way to live, not having the help you need.
Yeah. And what can you say causes mental health?
There are hundreds and hundreds of things that can cause it. You can be born with it. It can be hereditary. Some type of huge event could have happened. Prolonged exposure to a small event that has just caused a bunch of mental damage. There's just so many things that cause challenges with mental health.
All right. Thank you for touching on those topics, G. So, Dr. Bell, I want to circle it back to the a little bit. So, I know our topic tonight will be discussing the stigmas, right? Which is like the lack of understanding. So, we want you to touch on that a little bit. And then what caused stigmas, right? Which is being aware and getting education and stuff like that. And then we have some self-stigma that we probably put on ourselves, right? So we could talk about that a little bit. And then one that gets us all the time too is the social stigma, right? The stereotypes, like you were just starting to touch on the stereotypes, what comes with mental health. Like you say mental health, people say, oh my God, you're crazy, right? So that's some of the social stigmas we wanted to touch on. And I also want you to definitely talk about what to look for in a therapist, right? Because you don't know, right? You don't know what you don't know.
Right.
So definitely what to look for in a therapist, because you got to be comfortable. Right. Exactly. So, and that's very important. And then I want you to also touch on self-care, what to do, with ourselves on a daily basis, stuff, unwind, step away from your gadgets, right? So we could talk about that. So I'm going to give you the lead right now to just touch on those topics, and we'll jump in with any questions as we go. And don't forget, anyone who's out there listening, you can drop some questions in the chat as well. All right. So introducing again, Dr. Bell.
All right. So when I was growing up, I grew up in a very Baptist Black child. Like it was, if you could Google it and look on a Tyler Perry movie, you would see my childhood, right? Very much everything that you are going through can be fixed with prayer and tithing. And I remember being young and being like, I'm just so sad all the time. And it takes me so much energy just to be like the person that everyone sees. And family gatherings, like big Christmas and Thanksgiving, I remember having to put on the face and then always needing to take naps. And my family would tell me, oh my gosh, you're too young to be tired. You got so much to live for. Or you need to just cheer up. There's nothing wrong with you. You have all your needs are met. There's nothing for you to be upset about. And so as I got older, it got worse. And in my mind, because of how I was raised and the reaction of my family, I just knew something was fundamentally wrong with me. Like my mind didn't work the way it was supposed to, because this is how I saw everyone else functioning. And so I finally, when I went to get my bachelor's degree and I started studying psychology, I realized that I was conditioned that I always had to be okay, and anything other than that was seen as negative. And I didn't realize at first where this came from. And as I kept going back home from breaks, I realized that that's how my mother was. because that's how she was raised by her parents, and that's how her parents raised them. So you can never not be okay.
Right, that strong woman stigma. Gotta always be that strong woman, right?
Especially right? And, oh my gosh. So I remember, like, I can't tell people I'm not okay. Like, I always have to put on this face. I had so many masks, and there was so much energy I was putting into just being okay. And so I finally broke. And actually, next week, I'll be celebrating 7 years of Suicide Survivor Day. I'm super excited. Thank you. I broke, and I was just like, this is it. I can't do this anymore. No one's listening to me. No one believes me. Everyone thinks that I'm just crazy and I'm ungrateful. Right. And that's when I really, really got into mental health. I'm like, no, my people need representation. My people need to know and understand that it is okay not to be okay. It is okay to not feel like you're on stage all the time, because you're not supposed to be. It is okay that you just feel sad and you cannot pinpoint where this sadness is. It is okay if you worry all the time and you're up all night. Like, these are all mental health challenges, and they can just be addressed if you are able to have the courage to seek someone out. And I didn't have anyone that looked like me when I was going through these things. I didn't have anyone that I could go to and be like, my mom is tripping. Like, I told her that I was feeling this way, and she told me, girl, go on somewhere and get this done. Ain't nothing wrong with you. And I'm like, no, something is legit wrong with me, and you're not listening.
Right.
And so I said, I need to be a therapist. And this is what I've been doing since then. It's just so negative. You know, you can't go to your family and just be like, I'm really having these not okay thoughts and I don't know what to do about it. You will be shunned. They will look at you like you crazy. And you can't go out in public and be like, I was at home thinking about this, and people will look at you like, oh my God, let's get away from this person because something is wrong with them.
Right.
And there is no safe spaces, because in society, you always have to be on. Look at Kanye West. Like, he is suffering from mental health, and people just call him crazy.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's just crazy. Ain't nothing wrong with him. He's just crazy. No, I believe he has PTSD from when his mom died, and he just never addressed it. Like, those are things that losing family members, car accidents, sexual abuse, all those things change the makeup of your brain and how your brain functions. But no one wants to talk about that.
Right. So I got a
They
question.
only want to talk about. Yeah, go ahead.
What would you recommend someone do in that space, like what you went through? Like your mom saying, oh, you're crazy, go sit down somewhere. What would you recommend someone do for that when they're experiencing that? Because that's still happening today.
It is. For me, I didn't have a safe person. And so I wish I had the courage to find a therapist. So I would say, if you were in that space, find a therapist. If you're not courageous enough to find a therapist, find a safe person for you to talk to. Facebook and Instagram and TikTok have afforded us the ability to contact and reach out to people that we may not ever see in person, but they're people we're safe with that we can express those things to. So you have to find a safe person, whether it's a professional or just someone you can reach out to.
And is it normal and also like important to say, when you contact those person, they're not here to judge you, right? Because they're being judged already outside of that. But maybe some of them are scared to contact somebody, to tell themselves, okay, that person about to judge me anyway. So what's the point of doing that?
Right.
Yeah, most definitely.
And usually, like in our county, I have to do shout out to 211 Broward. we have agencies that people can actually call and just talk to people, right? You just simply dial 211 on your phone. And that's a lot of counties in Florida. I haven't had a chance to really check other states or anything, but like every county in Florida, there's a 211. And all you got to do is dial 211. And there's someone at the end of the phone for you to just talk to if you need someone to talk to. And no judgment there. So that's a great organization that you can find. And of course, there's a whole bunch of other helplines. There's apps now that I've seen. There's Facebook groups. There's so many resources out there. So the awareness is getting out. It's just still, you know, there's still that stigma. And I want you to talk about some self-stigma that you put on yourself so that, you know, you stop yourself from getting this help too.
Oh, man, that's the worst. That's even worse than like the family and social and community stigma is the one we put on ourselves.
Right.
Because most of us have this idea that we have to be okay and there's something wrong with us if we're not okay. Or we see other people, the perception of them handling life events. And so in our mind, we decide that, well, if we're seeing them do it, why can't I do it? What's wrong with me?
Right.
And learning to let go of those self-expectations is difficult, but that's what therapy is for, to help you through those things.
And what's the process to are you the one saying to somebody, okay, you need to come several times, or what's the process of that? Somebody coming and see you.
So when I get a therapy referral, I do an intake process, and all therapists do this intake process. And that's where you just meet up for the first time and discuss what the challenges are, like why this was the time for you to decide to reach out to get therapy, what it is that you're trying to accomplish in therapy. And so listening to all those things as the therapist, like in my mind, I'll conceptualize about how often we need to meet. But it's always the decision of the client if they are wanting to do that or not. Most of my clients now, I meet weekly, but most of my clients are dealing with severe depression and PTSD, so I have to see them weekly. Some of them I see bi-weekly, but it's you develop your treatment plan with your therapist. You identify goals. One thing that I realized here recently that I do differently that most therapists don't, not only do I identify what your goals are for therapy, I want to decrease my anxiety, or I want to set boundaries with my family, or whatever your goals are, I also require my clients to set goals for me as a therapist. Like, what is it that you need from me out of therapy?
I got a quick question though. What if one of your clients are uncomfortable with you? Are you honest with them and say, okay, if you're uncomfortable with me, I can recommend you to another therapist? That's kind of like choosing your therapist. If they're totally like, oh no, I can't do this, and you know, do you try to?
Yeah.
Because sometimes
people have to choose their therapist. Like, that's a part of finding a therapist. It is not a one size fits all type thing. So when I was looking for a therapist, I knew for a fact I could not see a white therapist. Not that I know some dope white therapists. I am in programs. They are so dope. But I knew if I am struggling with whatever I'm struggling with, and I go into my therapist's office, I don't want to have to explain why Jimmy in the office pissed me off because he saw my hair and told me I needed to change my hair. I don't want to have to go to therapy and explain my black hair to my therapist. So it was important for me to have a black therapist. And so you have to have the expectations of what you want out of a therapist when you go. You have to know those things, and you have to be like, you know what? I think you are great, but I don't think this is a good fit. Do you have someone you can refer me to? Right. I refer clients out all the time. It doesn't hurt my feelings because it's your therapy. So if you feel I'm not going to heal you, then I'm going to help you find somebody that can.
Awesome. So, I have another question. So to help choose your therapist, you should understand your symptoms, right? So how do you...
Not necessarily understand your symptoms, but you should be able to verbalize them.
Right.
And the first thing that everyone laughs at me when I say this, start Googling. Like, you need to Google therapists in my area that specialize in sexual trauma. Therapists in my area that specialize in LGBTQI+. Like, you Google those things, because you don't want to go to see a therapist and you're struggling from PTSD and you finally find one, but their specialty is childhood autism. Like, that's just not going to work. So you need to make sure you do your research first.
Yeah, like you just did. Can you like name some traumas that people, you know, mostly want to talk about or hiding behind because they're scared to talk about it? You just said, what is it, sexual abuse? What else?
Mm-hmm.
Abuse. Shoot, a lot of people don't want to say that they've been abused, domestic violence, especially when you're grown. Being an older person, that's embarrassing for a woman to say, yeah, I had a man and I stayed with him. And he was beating me up and he was doing all type of things. He was taking control of my life. I think a lot of times people mistake needing help for being weak.
Yeah.
Right.
When needing help is sometimes the strongest thing you could do.
Yep.
But why is it so hard?
Thing.
Why is it so hard? Like how do you get to block your mind and say, okay, I need help from this, I need help from that?
Right. How do you break that mental stigma that you set on yourself? Make you want to suffer in secret?
That is difficult. You have to find the courage within yourself to acknowledge that you are worth getting help. And a lot of women that I have seen in the past, they knew they were being mistreated. They were aware that how their boyfriend or their husband was treating them was wrong, but a lot of them just didn't believe that they were worth anything better. And so there are some things with mental health that I can sit and give you therapy sessions every day, but if you don't believe it and if you don't invest in your own mental health, then there's absolutely nothing that any professional can do for you.
Right. And that's the hard part.
Yeah, that's the piece. I don't have an answer. It's you have to want it for yourself. I don't know. I've told women so many times, like, you just need to leave. You just need to leave. But they don't believe that they are worthy to get any better treatment. And there's nothing I can do.
Or they're afraid of what society would say about them. Friends, family, or stuff like that. Like, I can't believe you let someone do that. And you didn't let someone do anything. You know, so... Yeah,
so then you have to deal with the stigma of you allowing someone.
Exactly. And you did not allow anyone to do that. So...
Right.
Totally get that. So that leads right into kind of like self-care, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about self-care and with mental health and self-love.
Self-care is my absolute favorite thing to talk about. It is something that I preach with my clients, and it's something that I share on my TikToks often. The number one self-care thing that I tell people is a nighttime routine. Your nighttime routine sets you up for a good day.
Yes.
The amount of sleep you get is so important.
So what is Dr. Bell's nighttime routine?
Oh, Dr. Bell's nighttime routine is still a work in progress. So typically what happens, my Fitbit lets me know when it's 9:30. That means it's time to stop all work. I don't do homework. I don't do research. I do nothing at the 9:30 time. Typically, I would go take a bath. I take a relaxing bath every night, and then I take a shower in the morning. So I don't pay for water, thank God, in my apartment building. I'd have to change my nighttime routine. But I take a relaxing bath for at least 20 minutes. I will get out and typically I'll lay in my bed and just kind of plan out the next day. Remember what sessions I have, whatever homework I have to do, my daughter's practices. I'm getting better at putting my phone down by 10:30. Sometimes it rolls over to about 10:45, 11 o'clock. But I'm usually asleep. I try to be asleep by 11:30 every night.
That's good.
So yeah, there's a little more details in there. I don't want to share all my good. Telling everybody what I be doing, but yeah, that's about my nighttime routine. And I'm up every morning. I don't use an alarm clock. That was one of my self-care things that I really wanted to work on, is waking up to an alarm clock is so jarring, and that can be very traumatic. And people with anxiety have expressed, like, knowing that the alarm is going to go off, you keep waking up thinking you've forgotten. And so I don't wake up to an alarm clock anymore. My body naturally wakes up, but it's because I've been very consistent with my bedtime routine.
Okay. And what about eating?
Yeah, that's it.
What about eating?
Oh, eating. Listen. Okay, so I'm a PhD student and I'm a single mom, and I go to school 45 minutes from home, and I also work full time. So eating consists of a lot of Chick-fil-A and Starbucks. I do drink a lot of water. I do not drink soda at all. I drink a lot of water. I try to, have a lot of fruit and vegetables, but, eating just isn't, I don't know. Okay. I struggle with eating. Always
a lot of us
go.
do.
I am always on the go. I'm trying to get better, though.
All right. And since
I'm trying to get
you're
better.
always on the go, how do you stay positive? Positivity as part of your self-care. Staying positive.
You know what? Honestly, I'm not always positive, and that's something that I had to be okay with.
Okay.
And I think that is important for my self-care too, because if I don't acknowledge when I'm not positive, then I'm not honoring my true feelings.
Very true.
And not honoring my true feelings will cause my mental health to slip a little bit. So I'm not always positive. I've quit school like 7 times, legit. But I'm still going. So I'm not going to quit, but I do not always stay positive, and it's not healthy for you to always stay positive, because you're not acknowledging those negative feelings that you're having, and having negative feelings is okay and it's normal.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm not always positive.
Very good. Thank you for that.
So what is it, once again, the first thing you will recommend somebody that's getting abuse or don't feel good about themselves or don't feel motivation about, doing what they're doing? What will be the first thing you tell them to change maybe their mindset or talk to somebody? What would you tell them?
The first thing I would tell them is when you have a goal you're working towards, it's easier to find motivation. So if you know that you are wanting to leave a relationship, and I want to be clear that it's not always romantic relationships either that you need to leave. It's those living with your parents as an adult and they talk to you in a condescending way. And it's siblings, and whatever relationship it is that you are needing to change, you need to identify that goal. I need to get away from this. And then how are you going to do it? That's the very first way. And once you have those steps, it's easier to achieve your goal because you have somewhat of a plan that you're working towards.
So talking about gold, I would want to ask a question to Richie D. How is it? How your mental have to be when you're an artist? You know, with the judgment and everything going on, how do you push yourself to do what you do?
I mean, it's something that's, to me, it's something that's in you. It's not on you, you know? So whether it's like she said, how bad do you want it? You know, you could, me, naturally, I'm a hustler. I always been a hustler. I always try to keep, even if I don't feel positive, I always try to keep a positive outlook on whatever it is that I'm feeling and tap into why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. I mean, we all get exhausted. We all get overwhelmed. But it's important to, no matter what, believe in yourself. No matter how you're feeling, your feelings are not what you are. And I never attach the way that I feel to who I am. I could be sad, but that doesn't mean I'm a sad person. I could be angry in a moment. That doesn't mean I'm an angry person. You know, so I believe in myself over everything. And that's what gives me the fuel to keep things going, even when things feel like, oh, it's trying to crumble down on me. I always see it as, no, it's something trying to just distract me from what I got to keep doing. So every time I see more obstacles coming my way, it gives a person like me more fuel to keep going, because I'm like, nah, I can't let this break me. I can't let this put me down. I can't, like, and I suffer with it all the time. Like, sometimes I feel lonely. I work and I go home and I'm alone, but you know, sometimes I get overwhelmed. I take care of myself. I take care of all my bills. I've been taking care of myself for years, and it gets to that point, but I allow myself to feel human. If I need to cry, I'm gonna cry. If I need to break down, I'm gonna break down. If I need to call somebody, thank God I have my mom. I can call my mom. I have a good group of people. I can call you. I can call Nicolene. I have a good support system. So I feel like as an artist, you will need a team. You need a support system. You need people that you trust. Like she said, even if you don't have a therapist, being able to have somebody that you could go to just simply to vent. Sometimes I just need to get it out, because growing up, like she said, growing up with me, I think my life made me like a master of suppression. Growing up in a Haitian household, you grow up with these stigmas, these island stigmas that, like, hey, we don't talk about this. At the dinner table, we don't talk about this. We don't say anything about this. Yeah, we know you went through this, but we're going to sweep this under the rug. Yeah. So I grew up having to undo that, because growing up, I was not able to talk about so many things. So I grew up as a grown woman. Here I am just taking things in, and now it's coming out as maybe an anxiety attack, or maybe it's coming out and I'm snapping on people I'm not supposed to be snapping on. Maybe I'm crying at things that I know I wouldn't be crying about normally. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like every artist, especially like if you're ready to step your feet into this, make sure you check in with yourself mentally. Make sure you're strong. Build up your mental, build up your faith, build up your spirit, whether you believe in God or not, whether you believe in just law of attraction, manifesting. Find something to believe in, and believe in yourself, and find people who believe in you. And I feel like no matter what you go through, you'll always be able to, like, get through it. So
awesome.
What you think about that, Dr. Bell?
I think that is great. Yeah. Like that, having that support system is so true. Like I've been able to build my family, which at first I was very embarrassed about. But now I am so grateful that I've been able to build my family. Like I have people that I can go to about different things. I also know as a therapist, like I can't just unload on all of my friends all the time. So I know who I go to for different things, and it changes my mental health so much. And there are people like my sister. She knows I don't have to tell her stuff anymore. She'll just notice different things about my behavior or how I say things, and she'll show up at my door and she's like, "All right, we're struggling. What do you need? Where do you need me?" And there's no judgment. There's no what's wrong with you. My mom now, if she comes into my house, by the state of my house, she can tell when I'm overwhelmed, and she'll be like, you know what, I got you. I'm going to clean the kitchen. You work on this. We'll get it together. So having a support system is so important. It's so important.
And real quick, can you do you feel like, well, not feel, but most people think like mental health is more uncommon than common, when it's actually extremely common. I think like almost every person goes through feeling crazy, you throw that C word out and people are like, whoa, they said the crazy word, like it's a bad word. But I think we all feel crazy sometimes. We all have some.
It is so common. People don't understand how common mental health is, and it's not always like a negative thing. So for me, I have generalized anxiety, and I overthink everything. And my man friend makes fun of me because in a split second, my mind can go through the pros and cons of any decision that I make, and that's not a negative thing at all. It doesn't take me long to make decisions because my mind automatically lists those things. The problem comes when I'm ready to go to sleep and my mind is making lists about stuff that don't matter at that time.
Exactly. So that leads right into what I was going to talk about, some relaxing activities. Personally, I do the same thing. My mind goes all over the place at night when it's time to go to bed. But I listen to like white sounds, sometimes the rain.
I thought she was going to say
right?
white people.
That white sound.
I thought she was going to say white people.
Y'all see what I got to deal with.
I knew what you was going to say. I knew what you was going to say.
I know you did, Dr. Bell. Thank you. So some white sounds of rain, stuff like that, just to relax your mind at night. Because if you're like me, I'm thinking about everything and anything.
Yeah, so let's talk about Nick mental health. How are you?
I didn't take my pill today, so be careful.
Okay, be careful.
Dr. Dale, what we can do
You
about
gotta
that?
take your pills. Self-care. Okay, please.
She might stab him under the table. Don't get him stabbed under the table, guys.
I'm gonna take that pen. Thank you very much.
Take any sharp objects, remove them away from Nick.
Oh my goodness.
Dr. Bell, save me. All right, so
I got you.
Thank you. Some relaxing activities. That's very important because a lot of us, like myself, hard to settle down. Our mind is so much going on. Like you're a single mom. You're in school. Oh my God, PhD. I can't even imagine. When I was doing my bachelor's, it was crazy enough being a single mom. But like single mom. You're driving your daughter around different places and stuff like that. So you're always on the go. What do you do to relax yourself in the evenings, and just to take yourself away from all of that?
Oh, that's a really good question. For me, my bedroom is a no electronic space. I have to have a space that has no stimulus, so that when I walk into my room, it is instantly like, all right, this is a chill space. Let's sit down on the floor, take a few deep breaths, and kind of depress from the day. I meditate a lot, and I promise you, I will sit on the floor no matter where I'm at. I have done it. If I feel overwhelmed or overstimulated, I am going to physically ground myself and sit on the floor. Now, I understand that not everyone has the confidence to sit on the floor in the middle of the grocery store, and I am okay with that. But as for me and my mental health, if I'm overwhelmed, I'm immediately sitting down wherever I am. Taking deep breaths is so cleansing, and I think people overlook the importance of being able to control your breathing. Just sitting and taking a few deep breaths will literally clear away stress.
You know what one therapist told me one time? If you scream yes, I don't know if you ever tried it. Just try it later on. Screaming
I
yes.
almost screamed into this.
Y'all trying to have me kicked out my apartment.
If you scream yes, you're actually inhaling and exhaling.
So I teach box breathing. Box breathing is one of my favorite breathing techniques. And I make my clients actually do it physically until their mind can do them without doing the steps. And box breathing is you take a breath in, you take a step forward, you breathe it out, you go to the right, another deep breath in, you take a step back, and then you blow it out and go to the left. You literally are making a box.
Make a box.
I like that. I'm gonna try that.
You sure that's not? You sure that's not a dance trend from TikTok?
It's going to become one. We're going to do it now.
Because
it might. You never know.
The box breathing challenge. Hey, we started one.
Yeah, box breathing. I love it. My daughter runs track. I am actually the mother of an Olympian. Super proud.
Congratulations.
And a lot of the kids on her team were so nervous before they were competing. They were throwing up, they were crying. I mean, just nerves. And so I taught the older kids the box breathing. And we were down in Houston for the Junior Olympics in July, and they were trying to come and find me to do box breathing with them right before they competed. So box breathing is like my go-to for when you're just struggling. Another thing that I love doing that is fun for a lot of people, I call it 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you are literally, you have your 5 senses, and so you have to identify in the moment, right where you are, 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear, 3 things you can smell, 2 things you can feel, and 1 thing you can taste. And so it makes you focus on your 5 senses, and you kind of lose your train of thought as to what was overwhelming you and what you were stressing about. Because it sounds easy, but it gets really difficult. And you're like, well, I don't smell nothing. So then you have to take some time to figure out, well, maybe we're going to find this angle.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's taking you out of your head.
You got to write that one
down.
That's
a good one.
4, 3, 2, 1. 5 things that you can see. 4 things that you can hear.
Yep.
3 things that you can smell. 2 things that you can touch. And 1 thing that you can taste.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool. Got it.
Nice one.
I like that. Box breathing and that. And also, can you also say, how important it is sometimes to do nothing? Because, I've given myself, working so hard, I give myself anxiety. If I'm not doing nothing, I used to feel oh my God, oh my God, I'm not doing nothing. But sometimes, you gotta just do nothing. It's important to just do
part of the self-care.
Nothing.
I had that conversation with my mom today because after my daughter's soccer game, she went to hang out with my dad. And I just climbed back in the bed and I fell asleep for 5 hours. And my mom called and she's like, what have you been doing? I'm like, nothing. And she said, well, it's Saturday. You didn't do no housework? Or, oh, no, I did nothing. And I'm about to do some more nothing.
Yes, they don't get that.
And the first word would be, oh, you lazy.
Yeah, they go, you lazy? You're taking a nap? It's noon. You're taking a nap? Yes.
Yeah.
I had to tell my mom, I'm like, well, rents do the first. So if you're worried about what's going on over here, rent is due the first. But as for me on this Saturday, I'm not doing nothing. I do something all day, every day.
Amen.
So I'm not doing nothing.
Right.
Amen. That's part of your self-care.
But doing nothing is something. I don't think people understand that either. Doing nothing is very functional, is very productive, especially if you're like me, where my day is planned out from 7:30 to 9:30 every single day. Doing nothing is important. Amen. That's just it. So you got to be able to do nothing. And then you have to be able to this is another part of therapy that people don't understand that I like to teach, is you have to be okay with just you. Like, in my mind, I'm the dopest person ever.
Yeah.
I think I'm hilarious. So why wouldn't I want to hang out with me?
Right.
I ain't mad at you.
I don't have to worry about negativity. I don't have to worry about people complaining about the shoes that's in the front door because we don't care.
And how important do you think affirmations are? A person speaking affirmations to themselves: I am beautiful, I am powerful, I am strong. Like, how do you think affirmations do, like, make a big impact on somebody's mental health state?
It's very important, even if you don't believe it. So, one of my affirmations or mantras, whichever you want, where you want to use, which I actually have tattooed on my arm, which, if you haven't seen, I'm covered in tattoos. But my number one thing that I tell myself is, you have overcome 100% of your bad days.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I look at that, and on my worst days, and I'm like, this is it. Like, I'm not going to do this. Nothing is going to work out. And having to remind myself that in that moment, even though I don't believe it, my worst days are behind me, because they're gone.
Right.
I got over them. So having those in places that you can see them regularly, my tattoos tell stories, and so I have 100% tattooed on the inside of my left wrist.
Oh, that's awesome.
No, the outside of my left wrist. And so I see it all the time when I'm typing, when I'm taking notes in class. That 100% is always there, and it reminds me I have no clue what's happening in this stats class. I don't know if I'm doing quantitative or qualitative stats. I can't tell you, but I know that this day is going to be like all those other days.
That's good. Where do you think is like the most important places for people to place these things for them to see? If they don't want to do tattoos, like, where do you think they could put it around the house, or something that they know they're going to look at?
I've done sticky notes.
The bathroom mirror, the refrigerator. People laugh at me, but the refrigerator is probably the number one place to put affirmations, because that's something you're going to look at every day. The microwave, cupboards. I have had clients that have Post-it notes like randomly all over their house because they want random reminders of what they're working towards. I have a sign that my clients see when I do therapy that says you've overcome 100% of your bad days. I've had them in my car, on my dashboard. I've taped them to my steering wheel. You have to get a little, I'm going to say crazy, but when it comes to you being the best version of you, you have to get a little crazy to get to the best version.
I agree.
Right. That's awesome. So, we're wrapping up here. So this is awesome, Dr. Bell. Thank you so much. Another thing I want to point out was also, like, when I wake up, I say what I'm grateful for, right? So, always, what are you grateful for? Just to keep that self-care going. What are you grateful for? Your family, friends, and stuff like that. I always make sure I do that as well as a pointer. So we want to wrap it up, and I want to talk about some resources available. Like I mentioned earlier, we have 211 Broward in every county in Florida. There is a 211 organization that can find resources for people. You could call in anonymous if you just want to chat with someone, right? And we know we have the suicide hotline for veterans. I'm a veteran, so I have to shout that out. We have the hotline for veterans out there as well. So you want to touch on some other resources that are available to people who don't want to go see a therapist or don't even want to let anyone know they're in therapy. What can people do about that? Because, that secret part is still out there, but just to make people comfortable and able to know that they can go find help somewhere.
Yeah, so 211 is actually everywhere. You can call 211 anywhere. I know here in Kansas, I'm in Topeka, and there has been a really big mental health push in our emergency room. So here you can actually go to the emergency room and let them know you're struggling with your mental health. Um,
I didn't know
another
that.
thing,
That's
yeah.
crazy. They're going to check you in. They're going to say we got to hold you for 5 days.
You know what? What they do at the emergency room here, that's how it used to be. But they now have mental health crisis technicians in the emergency room. And so they won't just throw you away. They will screen you. And if you screen in for immediate danger, they will send you to inpatient mental health for at least 3 days. And then if you do not meet the criteria, they will, they request you have someone come to the emergency with you. And then they will talk to both of you guys and create a safety plan for you to go home, but you will go home with, an appointment for the next day to talk to a therapist.
Okay.
So yeah, the ERs here are getting pretty good at that. There's also your community mental health center, and you could just Google community mental health center in my city, and they have services for both youth and adults. Most community mental health centers will service people who either do not have insurance or have state insurance. And then for me, when I found my therapist, I looked at my insurance, like the therapists that were in network for me, and just did the research on them to see which one will work best for me. And then, like we said before, just finding safe people you can talk to that won't judge you and that will help you kind of get over that, the down cycle that you're in the moment.
And then a lot of employers out there too has the employment assistance programs too for employees, right? That you could
they
go
do.
to, and it's anonymous. It's not like they're going to call your boss and say, "Guess who came to see me today?" Right? They have to, by law, keep that within themselves. And then also there's the hotlines, the national suicide hotlines, and you could even text. You don't even have to call, right? So you can Google that. There's hotlines you can just text. I remember too a couple years ago when I was a smoker. When I quit smoking.
Wait a minute.
Hey, I was in the military.
Wait a minute.
What were you smoking? What were you smoking?
Flash news.
Right, so in the military, but they're actually a text, you don't want to talk to anybody, where you get a daily text like, how are you doing today, something like that keep you motivated, right? So there's so many resources out there. And I talked about the apps. They have a few apps too that are available, and a lot of groups, because I'm even part of the veteran groups, right? Where no judgment there as well. There's a lot of veteran groups, a lot of women groups, a lot of fibromyalgia groups, lupus groups. Hey, Laverne.
LGBT groups.
LGBT.
Oh yeah.
LGBTQ
group.
Well, hey, don't make nobody slash my damn podcast. If you want to say it right.
I mean, that's support. I'm a B. I'm a B. So in the LGB, I'm in the B. So how?
Support all, right?
But
So there's
is
lots of
it
resources.
applications or in social media connect with?
There's social media apps. There's apps that you could download. Like there's one that's Calm, and that's recommended. That was recommended to me by the VA. So VA recommends Calm.
Isn't
That's
there
one
something
app.
called Loom?
I'm not
Or
sure.
something like that? I think something.
And
called
then
Loom.
there are Facebook groups that you can join as well. And I'm sure there's stuff on TikTok these days too.
Yeah.
And I'm
there's so many different
there's
ways
so
to
many
reach out if you're not comfortable with doing so. It's just, you gotta have the confidence and the courage to do so.
That's true. Like when we
Hey,
go back
and
to
you have another app, which is Dr. Bell, that y'all can app in on and
Do you have an app?
What's your
Don't have
handler?
an app.
No, she
I
does.
was gonna say.
she the old app.
What's your handler, or whatever your handler, your at? How can we follow you?
So on TikTok, it is loading_Dr_Bell. On Facebook, it is Sharday Bell. And on Instagram, it is PhD Goddess.
PhD
Goddess.
Hello.
Okay.
I would get that tattooed on me, but I ain't got no PhD.
I have an appointment for June. I'm getting more ink in June. I always get a tattoo for my birthday. That's my self-care.
And when do you
tattoo,
come?
so.
When do you come to Miami? Do you ever come to Miami?
I have been to Miami once, maybe. Listen,
Nice.
I barely have time to go to the bathroom. You trying to get me across the way?
Yeah. But we gotta get. You need that self-care. You need a little vacation, a little self-care, and then you need to come out here for a few days. And then we could book a tattoo session too.
Oh, listen, now you speaking my language.
Shout out to TPC Inc. Shout out to Panda on the tattoos. You already know.
See, y'all, bad influences messing up my self-care. I can't be.
Okay, hold
I'll be
on.
gone for a week.
Real quick, I'm looking for your Instagram. So you said PhD Goddess. Is there any
Let me
underscores?
check and make sure.
Yeah,
There
let's-
might be.
Okay. So let's get the.
See, what is my name? Oh, it's it's PhD _ KS _ goddess.
Okay.
Okay, PhD _ KS _ Goddess.
Got it.
Boom, gotcha.
We got you. We got you.
We got you right there. I'm
Well-
spamming your account right now.
Well, thank you
Oh,
so
this is
much
so
again, Dr.
exciting.
Bell.
And you're so beautiful.
Hey,
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
y'all need to know something about this lady. This lady funny. This lady, love herself and very much make you appreciate watching her videos. She's on TikTok with me.
Thank you.
And she's a beautiful lady, okay? With some different hairstyles she did that one with me.
I see you on the TikTok. I see you.
Can you tell my artist who am I? Who am I on TikTok?
Why are you gonna do that to me right now?
No, we ain't. We gonna do that for.
That's another thing. So,
This my TikTok crush for real.
Y'all better say it again.
Well, then we got double the reason to come to Miami. You need tattoos, crushes. Oh my gosh, you got so many.
I
reasons.
know. I haven't had a massage in a while.
That's for another episode.
all right, we're gonna reel it back in.
Oh.
But Dr. Bell, thank you for your time tonight. I really
Thank you
appreciate
for
that.
having me. I really
Thank you,
appreciate
Dr.
it. Thank
Bell.
you so much.
And I will have you back on other topics for real, because we need that that side of understand your mental and everything for whatever you do. So I will appreciate it to have you again. But thank you very much for the night.
Thank you, Dr. Bell. Listen, we proud of you. Thank you for your 7-year mark. We hope you many, many more years. Thank you for being here to help everybody, with their problems.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You guys have a great night.
You too.
too.
And talk
You too,
to you
Mama.
later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
That was awesome.
She was awesome.
she-
Definitely a whole vibe.
I really hope she answers some of your questions, even if you didn't, write it down. But at least I really hope that she kind of give you an impact of whatever you're thinking. But the only thing I will say is right now, it's time for you to love on yourself, open up on any type of thing that you blocking yourself from talking about. It is time for you to open up and be great about you and your life. So
I know that's right. I know that's
you know
right.
what I mean. So
I
like
know
I said,
that's
this is the most one of the important reason that I opened up that podcast with Nick. It was to really help others in no matter what. You know what I mean. So I'm very proud of this session with Dr. Bell, because I really think she kind of answered some questions of some people
A lot
that
of
wanted,
questions, definitely.
A lot of
So
questions.
Definitely.
And I want to thank everyone in the chat. Thank you, Laverne. Thank you, Haley.
Shout out to my mom. Shout out to Margie Jean-Louis for checking in. Hey, Mom. My mom is my number one fan, my stalker.
Classy.
But I have to say, I just wanted you to see Richie D today because she couldn't come last time. But we were going to have some surprise for y'all on the YouTube channel coming up with this lady right here. I'm going to put the song before we out because Mama's online.
And
so
thank
Mama
you, Classy Menace, for joining. Thank you so much.
Classy Menace, Haley Dillard, Margie Jean-Louis, Laverne, Chinese. Holla, holla, holla. Thank you guys for tuning in.
So this is Richie D Vixen with Pleaser.
Taking us out.
Yeah. You feel intrigued, huh? You wanna find out what I got up in my jeans, huh? You wanna lick me, wanna get up in between, huh? But let me ask you, do you really wanna creep in the mind of a freak? Yeah, this is my palace, wonder like Alice. I blow your mind like you're smoking on a chalice. If you match my freak, then I'm doing you like a rabbit. And when I throw it back to you, baby, you better grab it. And in the streets, be a gentleman. Behind closed doors, I wanna get it disrespectfully. You can't please me, then I'll drop you like you never felt. Because behind closed doors, I could touch myself. And I don't care if I sound crazy, I'm just telling you the truth, boo. If I ain't impressed, then I'ma boot you like a shoe, fool. Can't put them paws on me if you don't have a blues clue. Gotta stimulate my brain, ain't nothing that you're used to. Cause you'll never ever know what it means to get what I got, gotta give what I need. I know you think you got all that I need, but boy, can you handle the mind of a freak? Yeah. Simmer, give me keys to the Beamer. He wanna give me vibes, cartel fever. He wanna know if the vibes go deeper. All she wanna know is, can you really please her? Oh, baby, give me reason, something to believe in. Cause all she wanna know is, can you really please her? And you think that I'm a mystery. I know you're really into me. I know you wanna find out what it feels like to get into me, but I don't know if you convincing me. Yeah, the type to brag don't be the ones that excite me. I want a king that's gon' fuck, not fight me. All about that action, just like Spike Lee. So when he bite me, he always do the right thing. The type to brag don't be the ones that excite me. I want a king that's gon' fuck, not fight me. All about that action, just like Spike Lee. So when he bite me, he always do it right. And I don't care if I sound crazy, I'm just telling you the truth, boo. If I ain't impressed, then I'ma boot you like a shoe, fool. Can put them balls on me if you don't have a blues clue. Gotta stimulate my brain, ain't nothing that you used to. Cause you'll never ever know what it means to get what I got, gotta give what I need. I know you think you got all that I need, but boy, can you handle the mind of a freak? Yeah. Simmer, give me keys to the Beamer. He wanna give me vibes, cartel fever. He wanna know if the vibes go deeper. All she wanna know is, can you really please her? Baby, give me reason, something to believe in. All she wanna know is, can you really please her? And you think that I'm a mystery. I know you're really into me. I know you wanna find out what it feels like to get into me, but I don't know if you convincing me. Baby, give me reason, something to believe in. All she wanna know is, can you really please her? Simmer, give me keys to the Beamer. He wanna give me vibes, cartel fever. He wanna know if the vibes go deeper. All she wanna know is, can you really please her? Baby, give me reason, something to believe in. Cause all she wanna know is, can you really please her? Simmer, give me keys to the Beamer. He wanna give me vibes, cartel fever. He wanna know if the vibes go deeper. All she wanna know is, can you really please her? Baby, give me reason.
All right. That's Richie D in the house tonight.
Richie D Vixen. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at I am Richie D.Vixen with 2 N's. I am Richie, RICHIE, D.Vixen with 2 N's. Make sure you follow me. Shoot me a message if you let me know you tuned in. I'll follow you back.
And she is streaming on all platforms.
All platforms. Click
All
the link in the bio. Look me up, Richie D. Vixen, on any and every outlet. Pandora, Spotify, YouTube, Apple, Deezer, TikTok, everything. iHeartRadio, whatever. Look it up.
All of them.
And not saying that song, the video's coming soon.
Video's coming soon. Video's going to be crazy.
It's going to be crazy.
Shout out to Jules Management. Shout out to Nicolene. And, we were talking about mental health and we were talking about my team. If it wasn't for these two right here, my mental health would probably be a little more whacked out all over the place. So, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Thank y'all for having me here tonight. And yeah, let's let them know what's in store for the future. Man, this was a great session we had.
That was a good one.
Shout out to Dr. Bell too, for sure.
Dr. Bell, we love you.
We love you, girl. Thank you for tuning in.
So, like I said, we're about to have some good surprise for y'all with this young lady, talented, beautiful, and everything going on. Hey, mama.
Hey, Mom. Thanks for tuning in. My mom watched the whole time.
That's good.
My mom watched the whole time. That's why I'm going to pay your house.
Où qu'on est from Paleticola. Merci, maman chérie. But, like I said, we're going to have some surprise for y'all. We got to go. Next Saturday, stay tuned. We'll send y'all what we're going to talk about.
N2JJ Podcast. We are tuning out. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Peace.